And this is my first recording.
Yeah. It's quite a recording. I have to say that it really caught me off guard. It wasn't at all what I expected. And they're wonderful songs. It's an album called Strange Hurt, and we're going to hear some things from it in a few moments. The songs, the whole concept of it is so interesting. But I have to ask you first, because so many people will associate your name lately with a little incident at the Metropolitan not too long ago.
Right.
Are you and Kathy friends? Do you know Kathy Battle?
Yes, I know her in the respect of being a colleague, and she's been very kind and very supportive.
And to me, she's been very kind. And she was dismissed by the Met, and you were
her cover, and
you were the cover. Is that the way that worked?
Yes, I had two performances, and I also understudied Kathy.
Yeah. In
the performances that I didn't have to sing, and so.
So you did Daughter of the Regiment,
right?
That Monday night.
That Monday night. Yeah. That's right.
Well,
Happy Valentine's Day.
I think your star has shot up even higher.
Well, it's been a wonderful experience. Everything's just happened so quickly that I don't think all of it has sunk in.
Yeah.
And in time it will, but it's been a wonderful experience, and I've learned a great deal. I've grown a great deal, and that's what's been important to me. But Kathy and I have been, as I said, she's been very kind and very supportive, and has always been there for me. So. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy.
I've interviewed her once, and she was very, very sweet to me.
Very charming.
Yeah, very charming. How much work have you done at the Met before this?
I've been there since '83.
Mm-hmm.
I would say since '84.
Mm-hmm.
In '84, my first assignment was The Niece and Peter Grimes. I had a cover contract, and from that, I've just slowly but surely I've built my way, singing the larger roles, starting with my debut was really Poussette and Manon. Mm-hmm. And then I think I came back to sang Barbarina, and just slowly but surely.
Yeah. And you do Oscar.
Oscar, of course.
Perfect. Well, you know what I have to say is when I walked in the studio today, I've heard your voice many times, and I've seen your pictures many times.
Right.
But I wasn't ready for how small you are. You're a very small person.
That's what everyone tells me.
You're not that small, but I mean.
No, I mean
Thumbelina or anything.
No, I'm not this model. No, but it's interesting. That's the first thing people tell me when they meet me in person. Oh my God, you just seem 10 times taller or larger on stage than in real life. I said, no, I'm just about 5'1". And about
5'1",
5'1", and
the perfect Oscar size, I think.
Exactly. Well, I mean, and I lose a couple pounds running in this particular production because it's nonstop running. It's a great production.
It is a great production.
I love that production, and but literally, one time I came in and my dresser said, "Are you losing weight?" And it was just from basically just running around stage all night long. Yeah. The same with this role. I do a lot of marching.
Well, which you mean Daughter of the Regiment?
Daughter of the Regiment, yes.
And tell me about your background. You were born in?
I'm originally from Washington, D.C.
Right.
I'm the eldest of 5. 4 boys four boys. No, it's the other way around. My father would have been overjoyed. 4 girls and a boy, and the youngest is a boy. And
are your parents still alive today?
Yes, they are.
Well, they must be overjoyed now.
Oh, they were here opening night, and they were just they were over the moon. They really were over the moon. And then the following day was the party at BMG for the release of the album, and they were there for that. So they had a fantastic week. They were just over the moon. So.
You studied in Washington, too?
Yes, Catholic University. Yeah. My undergraduate degree is in music education, and my master's in vocal performance.
Yeah.
I wanted to teach at one time.
Well, you certainly... Who are your teachers? Because you have a wonderful technique. It's so natural. It's one of those
thank you.
Voices that sounds as if it never needed a lesson. You know those kinds of voices? You know, that Leonard Warren? Not that you sound like Leonard Warren, but...
Thank you so much. Right now, presently, I'm studying with Shirley Emmons, and prior to that was Margaret Hoswell and Franco Iglesias, and Linda was from Washington, D.C. I had several teachers while I was in Washington, D.C. at Catholic University.
Yeah, they taught you well.
Well, I was very lucky because I started very, very young. I started taking lessons when I was about 9, 10 years of age, and I really have to give credit to my first teacher who lives in outside of Washington, D.C. Her name is Nancy Nota Giacomo, and when you think about the fact that I started at such a young age, and she
you
really...
have to be very careful with young students.
Extremely careful, and I really do tell parents not really start that young. I was fortunate, very fortunate, and
Students should really go through puberty first before anything
exactly,
serious starts, because the voice has to
it changes.
mature.
It changes,
Yeah.
and
Even girls' voices
right,
change.
right, and it really doesn't mature. Start to mature at 17 or 18, and then it's going to go through another change in your 20s, and then it's going to go another change in the 30s, and so I mean I was very fortunate, and I have to thank her for not, basically not ruining the
Yeah.
voice, and. So I basically had her as my teacher until I went to college.
Yeah.
And ironically, my niece, who is now about 9 or 10, is studying with her voice and piano.
Isn't that great?
Yes, so it's full circle.
I have so much more to ask you about those, but tell me about this cycle, I guess it is a song cycle, called Genius Child.
Genius Child is a cycle that I had commissioned for me by Ricky Gordon. And at that point, I knew I had several recitals I would be doing in that particular year. And I wanted something that was different, that was interesting, that was new. And I wanted something that was American. And something about my experience as a Black American here in the United States of America. And at that point, I was reading Langston Hughes' poetry. And I had met Ricky several years prior to that, and unbeknownst to me, he had started writing this cycle.
Oh.
Yes, the first song was Kid in the Park, and we premiered that at the Aix-en-Provence Festival. And Ricky, once he finished the cycle, said to me, he said, I was writing this all along, because one day I knew we would do this. So finally, this was the occasion. I had a viol recital hall. I was going to Ambassador, and I thought, this is a time to really set us these songs and to create a cycle. And it's exactly, I mean, he captured an essence of my childhood. It was amazing. We never discussed it, but he captured a part of my life that he knew nothing about. And I guess maybe instinctively he knew, or what have you, just knowing Harolyn as an adult.
That's right.
And after we finished playing the songs, I sat there and I cried.
Yeah.
I said, it's amazing. You've captured a part of me.
Yeah. Let's play some of them. In fact, let's start with Kid in the Park.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And then Prayer, I think, was one
Right.
you decided on. And was the other one Joy?
Joy.
Yeah. Let's do those three from Genius Child. This is music by Ricky Ian Gordon.
Yes.
And the poetry is of Langston Hughes. And the voice is that of my guest this hour, Harolyn Blackwell. Harolyn Blackwell singing some of the songs from Genius Child, music by Ricky Ian Gordon, based on poems of Langston Hughes. And Warren Jones was your pianist,
Yes.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Oh, he's wonderful. I
Yeah.
adore Warren. I absolutely adore Warren.
She sang Joy and Prayer and Kid in the Park, which was the one that he had written actually before.
Before the cycle was
Yeah.
written.
You did commission these.
Yes, I commissioned these
Yeah.
songs.
These are on an album of Harolyn's called Strange Hurt, which is actually one of the
One of the
poems
songs,
and
right,
songs
right.
in Genius Child. And they're also coupled with another set of songs which I think are just so interesting, called December Songs. And we'll talk about those in just a moment, and some other things with Harolyn Blackwell when Around New York continues. Don't go away. New album on RCA. This is your first album for
My
RCA.
first one.
Yeah. She's
First
not-
of many.
Yeah, well, her career is young, and it's already a star that's very high. I love the pictures on here. I love that picture on the back.
You like it with the leather coat.
Leather coat, and it's sort of, the lighting is very hued. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of reddish, and it's sort of a very hip-looking album. Oh, so is this. I like this
The
a
front,
lot.
I call that the classical version of Anita Baker.
Well, yeah, I see that.
Oh,
It's great. It's a
I like
beautiful
that.
album.
thank you so much.
Let me see. We were talking about doing recitals,
Yes.
and you've got a recital tour coming up, do you?
Well, I have several in the fall this year. I think I go back to Ambassador, and I think there's one in October in Oklahoma. I try to do 2 or 3, possibly more,
Yeah.
within the season, because it just brings me back to the simplicity of the art song and the most intimate form of communication with people. And that's why I really like to do them. It's almost like a cleansing process for me. Just, I don't have to worry about the gowns. I don't have to worry about the drums going to fall off.
Do you wear drums in the production?
Yes. In the Dawn of the Regiment, we had one incident where it really became very, very comical, where this drum just would not keep still during the first duet. And finally, the audience started laughing because we were running after this drum. So I don't have to worry about that in the recital.
Yeah.
So, but I just find that the intimacy of the art form is what I love, and the creative aspect is what I love. And just putting an entire program together and just experimenting and seeing, well, does this work? No, maybe that doesn't work. And it gives you the opportunity to do that when you're performing so many recitals.
Yeah. Did you sing different roles when you started than when you're? I mean, is your voice appreciably different? Because it's still very high and light, and I must say, I hate when I always ask a question and then I make a statement.
That's
I hate
all right.
when I do that, but
Go
all right,
ahead.
I'll just finish. You're a great example, I think, for young singers, because many young singers come into a big house like the Metropolitan, and they push too hard, and you don't. And I think they don't realize you don't have to. Because, the production ought to be balanced. That's part of the role of the conductors, to make sure you're heard. And you do hurt your voice if you push.
You do. And I think part of it is that you see this house of 4,000 seats, and that's in the back of your mind. You're thinking, I've got to fill this house. I must fill this house. And it has happened to me in the rehearsal period at times. I've walked out there and I've had coaches or my voice teacher say, wait a second, Harolyn, just calm down. Just sing with your voice. And the conductor will help you. And I think it's just that initial feeling of walking on that stage and just go, oh my God, there's 4,000 seats. But once you get over that and you once get into doing the role, you have to think about singing with your voice. And I think the most important thing is also finding the right repertoire for your voice. I myself, when I began my career, I was singing heavy lyric. And two people who really helped me change my mind, because I was very hard-headed about this. I would go into auditions and I would sing Blanchen's aria, and then I would sing Touquet de Gel, and people were going, well, what is she? And I could sing them both well, but to be realistic, I could not get on a stage at the Metropolitan Opera and sing Liu. That's impossible. Blanchin was right. And finally, it was while I was working with Carla Bergonzi in Busseto, and Madame Tebaldi and a wonderful woman who has passed away by the name of Sylvia Baracchi, who I met in Chicago, pulled me aside, and they took the time and said, if you want to have a major career, these are the roles you have to sing. Susanna, Blanchin, Despina, Norina, Adina.
The Ina roles.
The Ina roles. And I kept saying, but I don't want to sing the Ina roles. They said, but if this is what you want, if this is your goal, this is what you're going to have to do. And I thank God for that advice every day.
Your voice chooses the roles for you.
They do, absolutely.
Otherwise...
Your voice and God. He just says, this is what you're going to do.
What was it like studying? You went to Italy and studied with Bergonzi and Tebaldi. What was that like?
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah. It was really an incredible experience. I would say, I had spent a year in Chicago in the apprenticeship program. And in a way, they solidified everything I had learned in the program. And it was a wonderful experience because we had coachings every day, twice a day. Maestro Bergonzi would come at least once a day to work with us. And really, a lot of the work that I did on the Badalo was with him. And then Madame Tebaldi came for a 2-week period to give us master classes. And it was an incredible experience. It was just to have the opportunity to really pull things apart as a young singer and to have someone to guide you and to help you in those early years. And that's so important.
I had not met Madame Tebaldi, but I did have a chance to interview Carlo Bergonzi, and he's such a charming man.
He is such a charming man. He's difficult in a good way, in the respect of 8 o'clock. We were in those classes, and if you missed a class,
Ooh.
The next coaching session, he was right there saying why you were not there. He was a real taskmaster.
He has a hotel and restaurant, in
that's
Italy.
where we were.
E Due Foscari. Is that where you were?
We were.
Yeah.
At the Due Foscari.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful time. We just took this place over, and and all these singers. I mean, there were about 12 of us selected from around the
Oh, isn't that
country.
wonderful?
It was a great experience, and we were the first participants.
That's
and we
fabulous.
had a great time.
I want to ask you about December songs. These were written by Maury Yeston?
Yes.
Who is Maury Yeston?
Maury Yeston is the composer of Grand Hotel 9. He also has written The Phantom. And I met Maury really through RCA. And I was familiar with 9. I had not seen or heard the music to Grand Hotel. These songs were originally written for the Carnegie Hall Centennial for Andrea Moravici. And these songs were sent to me by Bill Rosenfield and at RCA Victor. And he said, I think you might like these songs to complement the songs with Ricky. And I sat and I listened to them, and I did. I just fell in love with them. And his concept of this being the female version of Die Winterreise really just struck a chord with me. Yeah. And I thought, this is quite interesting. And I listened to them the first time, and I went, I like them. I listened to them a second time. I said, I really like them. And I said, okay, let's go with these. And some of them I just fell in love with immediately. Others have just grown over the period that I've recorded them, and I've become more familiar with Maury's material. But and also I said, I think it would be great that we should orchestrate these songs. I just had this feeling that these songs should be orchestrated. And
did he orchestrate them? Because it's a beautiful orchestration.
Jonathan Tunick.
Beautiful.
Jonathan Tunick. I was just so blessed, and I was just so happy when Maury said, would you mind Jonathan Tunick? I said, would I mind? No, not at all.
I was taken with them, too. Let's play some of them. Let me see which ones we've talked about here. Let's not even say hello. This is about a woman's sort of, well, it's like a female Winterreise,
right.
Woman in New York, actually.
In New York,
yeah.
Exactly.
Please, let's not even say hello. Bookseller in the Rain. And then for me,
yes.
My grandmother's love letters. And I Had a Dream About You. These are some of the songs from December songs. Warren Jones accompanies you again?
No.
Oh.
It's the accompanist for this one is...
Oh, it's the orchestra.
It's the orchestra.
And it's conducted by Jonathan Tunick,
It's conducted by Jonathan. It was a real honor to work with Jonathan. It's wonderful.
These are lovely. Harolyn Blackwell singing some of the December songs from her RCA album. Aren't those beautiful? That last one is called I Had a Dream About You, and the one before that, My Grandmother's Love Letters, which had me misty, and before that, Bookseller in the Rain, which I also love, and the first one was Please Let's Not Even Say Hello. They're some of the December songs from a cycle written by Maury Yeston,
yes.
who wrote the words too.
Yes, Maury also.
Isn't that wonderful? Because the words are wonderful.
They are beautiful.
My Grandmother's Love Letters, talking about breathing the air of long ago. And
they're beautiful. I mean, it was when I first read them, I just went, Maury did this also, the words and the music, and they blend so well together.
Yeah, Maury Yeston, if you're just joining us, has written a number of Broadway hits.
Yes.
And wrote these. These were written before he knew you?
Yes.
Yeah, so they
were written for someone else.
They sound like they're written for you. Yeah. Oh, you did say they were written for?
Andrea Moravici.
Yeah.
For the Centennial. And I can't remember which year. And that has been recorded with piano.
Uh-huh.
And then they approached me about singing the songs, and that's when I said it'd be interesting, I think, to orchestrate the songs. I just heard this.
That's a good idea.
I said this to Maury. I said on our first meeting, I said, Maury, I said, I know we don't know each other well, but I just hear so many of these songs orchestrated with just a chamber group. And he said, I feel the same way. I said, then we're talking the same language.
And Jonathan Tunick did it and conducted.
Yes.
He did the arrangements and conducted. You must be proud of this album.
I am. I really am. For my first album, it's something that's unique. It's something that's really a part of me. It's a statement I want to make about recital music in America and about American art songs.
Yeah.
And I feel very honored to have this as my first disc.
Yeah. You're going to be singing Genius Child, which is on this album.
Yes.
On, when are you going to do that?
March 15th.
15th,
Broadway
which is, I always need a calendar in here and never have one. When is the 15th?
It's Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Okay, and where are you going to do that?
Next Tuesday. St. John the Divine.
Oh, terrific.
Right. I've never performed there, so it'll be my first time.
Biggest
And
Gothic cathedral in the world, I think.
yes, that's right. And this is an evening of Ricky Gordon's songs and to Broadway Fights AIDS.
Oh, good.
So it's a benefit concert.
Yeah.
And he asked me, and I said, I'll be there.
Tuesday night, what time?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock at
St.
Cathedral
John
St.
the
John the
Divine.
Divine. Do people need to call for tickets? Or?
Yes, and I don't have the number with me,
Well, that's all
unfortunately.
right. Well, you know, it's such a big place. I can't imagine people being turned away. There are
No.
balconies and everything. It's huge.
We have room for all.
Yeah, that would be fun to hear Harolyn Blackwell sing Genius Child. You'll sing the whole cycle then.
Yes.
Yeah. What other things will you be doing soon?
After that, I'm going off to Buenos Aires for a month to sing Oscar in Ballo.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll come back here, and I'm doing a program on PBS the end of May for the Memorial Day service in Washington, D.C. And then I have Carmina Burana in Chicago with Leonard Slacken.
You get to sing those wonderful arias. What is that wonderful Intrutina?
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yikes.
Oh, yes. Well, the Dulcissime isn't bad either.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh, I love that piece.
Well, this is her album. It's on RCA. It's called Strange Hurt. Harolyn Blackwell. She sings December songs of Maury Yeston and Genius Child of Ricky Ian Gordon. And it was released not too long ago, right?
February 15th, the day after
Yeah.
the opening of the Dawn of the Regiment.
It's a beautiful... A lot has happened to you very quickly.
It's been quite a month. It's been a
Yeah.
great month. It's been a
Yeah.
great month, and I'm very thankful.
I'm so happy to have met you and to sit and talk
Likewise.
with you and hear your music.
I've had a good time.
Come back and visit.
I plan to if you have me.
I hope you will.
Okay.
Harolyn Blackwell has been my guest this hour on Around New York. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steve.